Alrighty, we'll give the live a second to get set up. Alrighty. All right, so hey, it's Edward Stevens with Stevens Group at Reese Nichols. Check out the new background. This is next level professionalism. We're not quite to 100%. We don't quite have our own studio yet. We're not quite Hollywood level, but we are making progress. We are making great strides, okay, to get you the professional setup that you deserve as a viewer, as a supporter of Edward Stevens and the Stevens Group at Reese Nichols. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Why are you watching this? If you are selling your home in this real estate market and you come across a VA buyer, that's somebody who's using their VA loan to buy your home, stay tuned. And if you're somebody who has VA loan eligibility, you served active military or through some other means, you have access to a VA loan and you're out shopping for a home right now, stay tuned, okay, because this video is for you. I want to take the next couple minutes to give you some value and make sure that you're all up to speed when you're out there doing your real estate transaction this year. Um, those of you who don't know me, my name is Edward Stevens. I'm a real estate agent and broker. I work at Reese Nichols in Leawood. I've been doing this about 10 years. I'm here to help. If you have questions, if you have comments, you can message me. You can drop a comment. You can pop into my office and see me. You can give me a call. You can shoot me a text, whatever. I'm here for you. Okay. That goes for past clients, uh, potential clients, haters, everybody. Other real estate agents, lending partners, everybody. Okay. So let's talk about VA loans real quick. Big problem. Big problem. VA buyers don't get the love they deserve in this market or any market, it seems like. A lot of real estate agents, they're just not feeling working with VA buyers. They feel like real estate agents feel like it's a losing game. If you are a buyer that's pre-approved with a VA home loan pre-approval, it sort of has a stigma to it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of real estate agents and some lenders and a lot of sellers who just don't know the ins and outs of a VA loan, and they look at it as just extra trouble and extra work. So we're going to talk about how to make some of that go away if you're a buyer. Now, when we real estate agents are helping buyers buy homes, we're using the MLS. We're looking through properties on the MLS and it's got the price and it's got all the pictures and it's got all the disclosures. And one thing that I see a lot of real estate agents scan for when they're looking at these properties is the terms that the seller is willing to sell the house for. So what I mean is it a cash only sale or is the seller open to cash and maybe conventional financing only? Or are they open to FHA, VA, etc.? I know there's agents out there that will see a house that may be a good house, maybe a house that if you're a VA buyer, you might like to make an offer on or at least go check out. And your real estate agent will pass it over because it says cash only or it says cash or conventional only. So you're losing out on a lot of opportunities because you don't even see some of these options. Your real estate agent's not even sending them to you. Okay. Or even worse, you're sending them to your real estate agent and saying, hey, I want to see this. I like this and I want to check it out. And they're telling you no because the seller's not willing to take a VA offer. So what do we do about that? I highly recommend that you go ahead and try to override your real estate agent a little bit and say, hey, let's go check it out anyway and try to negotiate it out, try to work it out. Hopefully your real estate agent's got enough, you know, tenacity to be able to go out there and at least write an offer for you. But go out, check out the house. If you like it, write the VA offer anyway. Okay. A lot of times, if there's no other offers on the home, the seller's inclined to look at anything that may come in as an offer. And also, sometimes listing agents put no, they don't want to sell the property VA, meaning the seller's agent puts on the MLS, they don't want to sell the house VA because of their own misunderstandings about what a VA buyer will require. And so, with your real estate agent being up to speed with what a VA loan requires, your real estate agent can educate the other real estate agent or educate the seller or whoever to try to smooth over any concerns that they may have about accepting a VA loan. It's very important that you do this, okay? Because I just see too many VA buyers getting the shaft when they're out there looking at homes because of the things that we just mentioned. Now, what does a VA loan require that maybe other types of loans don't require? Okay. Why would sellers and listing agents be so hesitant to accept a VA loan? This is not supposed to be a complete breakdown of all the requirements of a VA loan, but I'm just going to give you a couple that real estate agents, listing agents, the agents working for the seller, and sellers are usually concerned about. Number one is they can't buy a house as is. VA buyers have to have certain inspections done. It's usually just a termite inspection. Now, for sellers that want to sell a property completely as is, no inspections, not going to fix anything, whatever, VA buyers are not going to be able to take that medicine, okay? Because the lender's going to require the property doesn't have termites, and they're going to make sure somebody with qualifications goes out there and checks and makes sure it doesn't have termites. At least here in the Kansas City area. I don't know about Hawaii. I don't know about Oregon. I don't know about Massachusetts, but here in Kansas and Missouri, we have termites. So that's number one. More prevalent, though, than inspection related questions that a seller may have are appraisal related questions. Appraisals can be more stringent. They are usually more stringent. The appraiser is looking for things when they're doing a VA appraisal, the appraiser is looking for things that they wouldn't ordinarily look for if they were doing a conventional appraisal. So let's say two buyers are making an offer on two different houses, one's conventional, one's VA. The conventional buyer is going to have a conventional appraisal. That conventional appraisal, when that happens, it's going to be a lot less conditions, it's going to be a lot less things that turn up on the appraisal as potential problems, meaning repairs that the appraisal requires. VA, when they have the VA appraisal, the appraiser goes out there, they're going to start racking things up. They're going to be looking for things, safety related things. Uh, they're going to be looking for habitability related things. So they're more likely to call out cracks in a foundation. They're more likely to call out GFCI, ground fault current interruption. Those little goofy little outlets that are like in your kitchen and stuff that have the button on them. They're more likely to call out chipped and peeling paint. They're more, if it's an older house, they're more likely to call these things out, and sellers and real estate agents have an understanding of that, at least enough to know, wow, I don't want to get in this position where we have to do all these repairs on the house. So what's the solution? What is the solution? Well, obviously it's a negotiation. You don't want to just pass on the home of your dreams because of something that may happen in the future on the appraisal. There's a chance that nothing comes up on the appraisal. Or maybe you think, oh, there's going to be like six things that come up on the appraisal, and then really only two things come up on the appraisal as required repairs that the appraiser and the bank are going to require, right? So I don't think you should write off the house at the beginning and just not even write an offer on it because of something that may happen. But if you're having a hard time getting your offer accepted, then you can negotiate ahead of time that one party or the other party is going to pay for certain repairs that the lender may require, that the appraiser may require, and you can negotiate that upfront as part of the upfront offer. So if the seller and you come to some agreement that like, hey, the seller's going to cover the first $2,000 of repairs, but nothing beyond that, or maybe you're going to cover the first $2,000 in repairs, you can work that out. You can work that out and make sure you have your lender check the contract and make sure that everything is good to go on that as well, because the contract's going to go to the lender and you want to make sure the lender doesn't have any problems with the way the contract's been written. But you can work it out. If you agree, say, hey, you know what? There's a chance that the appraisal may require $2,000 in repairs. As the buyer, as the VA buyer, I appreciate you accepting my offer. I know that there's a risk associated with accepting a VA offer. I'm willing to come out of pocket for the first $1,000. There's a chance that the seller might say, you know what, that's fair. Let's go ahead and shake on it and let's make the deal happen. Okay, there's a way through that. Next thing to think about is having a backup financing option. If you're VA, that's great. A lot of times people would prefer to go VA if they're VA eligible. Usually the interest rate or the overall monthly payment is a lot less. So it makes sense just to have a VA pre-approval and go out and rock and roll and start looking for houses. You might want to have another option as a backup. You might want to have a conventional pre-approval as a backup. I know a lot of people um, that have trouble getting their offer accepted with a VA loan if they go in with a conventional loan and they say, hey, I'd like to, I'll switch from VA lending to conventional lending, then the seller is willing to accept the offer. Or maybe they're willing to accept a lower offer. Okay. Maybe they want full price if it's a VA offer, but maybe they're willing to pay some closing costs if it's a conventional. Isn't that so? It's just, I mean, it's terrible that that's happening, but this is a negotiation. And the truth is it is happening. So you need to arm yourself with information and know how to negotiate these things. So if you have the chance to talk to your lender before you actually get in the middle of an offer situation and say, hey, go ahead and run me through as a conventional anyway. Show me what the numbers would look like if we had to go conventional. Then that way you know you've got another option, especially if you're in a multiple offer situation. You know, if it's you and maybe three other people and they're all bidding for the same house, you don't want to lose the house because your financing appears weak. As much as VA loans are, done all the time and done without any problems a lot of times, you don't want to be penalized in the eyes of some sellers that may have um, preconceived notions about VA buyers or about how difficult you could potentially be as a potential buyer for the property. So definitely check that out. Have a backup option. Have a conventional loan as a backup option. Final thing is I highly recommend working with somebody both on the lending side and on the buyer agent side who who has some experience with VA buyers. You don't want to be the hamster that they're experimenting with and learning from. You need people that already know their job and they're out there with their experience helping you. You're not there helping them learn their job. And I see that more than I should with lenders and with real estate agents where you don't have a lot of experience. Maybe there's no mentor involved and there's just like a lot of questions that you shouldn't have as a lender or as a real estate agent. And you have them and the questions aren't getting answered. And the buyer, if you're the buyer, you're out there with incomplete or inaccurate information about your loan, about what your options are in terms of buying a home. So use somebody that's at least done a few VA loans on the lending side, somebody who's done at least a few purchases on the real estate agent side for VA buyers. And that way you'll know the ins and outs and all the twists and turns. And you're going to be, I'm not saying you're going to know, your professionals with whom you're working, they are going to know and they're going to be able to guide you and help you to avoid any of the potential pitfalls that are going to come your way. So that's pretty much it. There's a lot more that I could go into about VA, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here. If you have any other questions, anything else you want me to dive into regarding VA buyers and VA, like selling your home to a VA buyer, go ahead and drop it in the comments. It's Edward Stevens with the Stevens Group at Reese Nichols. Look forward to seeing you one day at the closing table.